And Perla Segovia, originally born in Lima, Peru. During her early childhood, she lived throughout Peru, from the big city to the mountainous rainforest and to desert coast. At the age of 10, she moved to the US with her family and lived in rural North Carolina. She graduated from North Carolina State University with a BS in textile technology. And currently, Perla is an MFA candidate at the U of A, so at the University of Arizona here. We're lucky to have both Julia and Perla living in Tucson and creating their work. But Perla's artistic mission is to advocate for immigrants' value, aiming to celebrate their strength, perseverance, dreams, and sacrifices. She incorporates textiles and textile technique into her work because they resonate with most of us and therefore can be effective tools of communication. All right, Perla, take it away.
Thank you, Mariana, and thank you to the museum for inviting me also to be here and to share my work. So yes, I'm an immigrant, and a lot of my history is reflected in my work. Let me just, at least we're here on the first slide here. So to me, art can be seen as a continuous thread that binds groups and generations. And this is what makes it an ideal tool for communication. It can serve as a powerful catalyst for advocacy, for building solidarity, and for preserving a history often suppressed in the mainstream. And as Mariana said, yes, when possible, I like to incorporate textiles and textile techniques into my work because they do resonate with most of us, right? From birth to death, we're shrouded with textiles. We're clothed and shrouded. I believe textiles transcend culture, geography, and time, and are capable of serving as a unifying impetus in our tumultuous society. They can connect people, engage with them, and motivate people into action. My hope is that eventually this engagement of artistic activism can lead to positive shifts in culture. All right, so now we're going to go to the next slide. And this is, I would say, the catalyst of the work that you currently see at the museum, and the work that I'm currently making. So this is actually an ongoing installation where I accept photographs from immigrants in their homeland. So if you would like to share your photograph of yourself in your homeland, I'm happy to take it. So I quickly replicate these photographs onto canvas using freehand machine embroidery without previously sketching the photograph onto the canvas. This reflects the abrupt and quick decision-making many immigrants have to make. The hasty action of quickly embroidering someone's memories without previously tracing on the fabric forms an interconnection with myself and the immigrant. The combination of quickly sketching someone else's memories and the loud sewing machine noise also adds a sense of urgency, reflects the brusque manner in which immigrants often have to leave their homes, and gives me the responsibility to record their precious memories. Next slide, please, Mariana. So here's a little bit of a close-up of In Their Shoes. And you might see a bit of a reflection there on what another painting that's at the museum, the top embroidery there. So I often use natural canvas in my work as a signifier of the immigrant human body. Natural canvas is made of a simple, humble yet strong weave, representing common immigrants' traits of strength, perseverance, resilience, and their mighty ability to hold on to hope in the most strenuous of circumstances. Next slide, please. So the embroidered sketches that you saw in the previous project turn into embroidered painting collection called Immigrant's Void. The difference here is that they're much larger in scale, and also they emphasize it, not only do the immigrants leave a void behind, right, but they also become a void themselves. Next slide, please. Mariana. So the next two slides are more of the same Immigrants Void collection there, or series. All right, go to the next slide. And this is the other installation that's at the museum. It's called Hope Confined, Dignity Suppressed. And it was made in reference to the recent separation of immigrant children from their parents at the US and Mexico border, where more than 5,000 children were separated from their parents under the Trump administration policy called Zero Tolerance, which was designed to deter immigrants from crossing the southern border. Unfortunately, several immigrant children have died since September of 2018, mostly after falling ill in detention facilities. According to an inspection report of the DHS Office of the Inspector General, at one facility, detainees were not provided appropriate clothing and hygiene items to ensure they could properly care for themselves. Furthermore, the US government recently went to court arguing that children are not entitled to basic sanitation, clean clothes, bathing, and toothbrushes. These same simple materials for basic hygiene that are even mandated to prisoners of war under the Geneva Convention. Next slide, please, Mariana. So here's a close-up of the, I guess I'll call them self-sculptures. The shoes and toiletries, along with other design elements, represent the struggles of flight, the immigrant process, the asylum or lack of it, hostility in the host country, and the perception of being other within a new culture. Shoes are displayed in a continuous circular manner to represent immigration as an infinite continuous cycle and to communicate the concept of an all-inclusive society. The red silk cord represents humanity, how all of our lives are interconnected, how we share universal human experiences, and how in unity we are stronger. Silk, after all, is the strongest natural fiber when dry, but loses 20% of its strength when wet. The embroidery is made on an unbleached utilitarian canvas, again reflecting the strength of immigrants, their natural traits of resilience and desire to be a productive member of society. And finally, as you can tell, it's not black thread that I'm using, it's actually navy blue cotton thread used in all the embroidery as a symbol of strenuous hope. Next slide, please. And here's another, this diptych-like project comprises of a painting and an embroidered drawing. It represents an immigrant in her new home with an alternate view of her body made of unraveling threads signifying her displacement, a vast void, the emptiness and loneliness one feels when leaving their home, not knowing if they'll ever go back. The bright colors of the painting reflect immigrants' traits of strength, perseverance, and unfaltering optimism. And also, this work also challenges the fictional idea that we can only belong to one country or place. So, de aquí, de allá means from here and from there. Okay, next slide, please. This work, the shoes that you see at the museum now have evolved into standalone soft sculptures where the insoles have immigrants' memories embroidered on them, again becoming signifiers of the immigrant human body, where their experiences and memories have made indelible and transcending imprint in the insoles. Furthermore, the labor-intensive process of making shoes resonates with immigrants' long, strenuous journey, and also the essential, undervalued work they often do in this nation. Next slide, please. Pasadores references inhumane immigration policies, such as the migrant protection protocols, also known as the Remain in Mexico policy. This policy places immigrants in vulnerable situations and it leads immigrants to take dangerous routes through the desert, which often leads to deaths. Furthermore, US officials remove asylum seekers' shoelaces purposely so that they don't harm themselves while in detention. However, when they're sent back to Mexico, the cartels identify families with missing shoelaces as easy prey for kidnapping and trafficking. This painting portrays a family sitting on chairs as if being forced to play musical chairs. They're wearing tennis shoes which are missing shoelaces. I also find that when we put ourselves right in other people's shoes, we become more empathetic of others' plights. That's why I choose for the family to be portrayed to have had an experience, some sort of hardship at some point in their lives, since I could not actually use that immigrant family for their privacy. Next slide, please. And this is the end for me. And here's a quote from Terry Eagleton. There are few more honorable tasks for students of culture than to help create a space in which the dumped and disregarded can find a tongue. And that's all of us. We're all students of culture. Thank you, everybody.